You're watching TelecomTV's exclusive video coverage of the SDN and OpenFlow event from Singapore. And I'm joined now by Rada Stanic, who is Consulting Solutions Architect at Cisco. Rada, thanks for speaking with TelecomTV. Where are we at the moment with the development of SDN and NFV?
We have seen market mature significantly over the last 12 to 18 months. 2 years ago even, talking about SDN or NFV was just really a bit of a novelty. People were just investigating whether it was real, where it was heading. But now we are at the stage where telcos, service providers are turning it into reality. It is not an overnight transformation of network by any means, but we are starting to see some real use cases. We are starting to see some real business drivers and providers starting to turn it into reality in small steps, but nevertheless they're becoming quite real.
Is the telco adoption of SDN based on earlier implementation of SDN by cloud providers and the enterprise? And are the needs and requirements of telcos different from those two groups?
Oh, yeah, definitely. The angle from which providers and telcos come is quite different than to that of enterprises. I guess different providers see different reasons to move into the whole space of SDN and NFV. Some of them are turning to NFV because it is effectively a vehicle for innovation, for them to come up with new and interesting services that can differentiate them in the market from others, to provide completely new revamped user experience to their customers. Others are seeing it as an opportunity to simplify their networks, to introduce some operational simplicity, to reduce costs. And some are seeing it as a need to transform the business as a whole. So we really see the variety of reasons why providers and telcos are embracing NFV. The main thing to say here is that it's, as a technology, it is definitely here to stay. It is becoming real. There is still a long way to go to have a fully mature stack, to have all the modules and components locked and in place. But there are tangible steps and there are tangible benefits that are making true difference to providers' business.
Are telcos looking to adopt SDN and NFV simultaneously, or are they looking to first perhaps roll out NFV in selected areas?
That's a great question. In fact, this is an area that I have been following now for quite a few years, and the conversation initially started with SDN, separation of control and data plane, and nobody could quite make sense, what would be the business benefit of doing just that. The way I describe NFV and SDN to a lot of my clients and to myself as well is, to me, SDN is an enabler of NFV. NFV actually, helps them realize specific goals they have, whether it's innovation, whether it's reducing costs, whether it's, transforming their networks. And SDN is something that enables that transformation. So I almost even try to stop and make the true differentiation between the two. They support each other. And virtualization is, again, part of both SDN and NFV. I mean, NFV started as a way to virtualize traditional physical appliances and turn them into virtual functions. But obviously, creating a specific use case that becomes just a small step in achieving much broader network transformation that spans across data center, across the wide area network, and then the enterprise access and the way that providers will deliver managed services in the future.
We often regard SDN and OpenFlow as being mutually exclusive, but we are seeing alternatives to OpenFlow emerge in the southbound link. Is this a competition to have one dominant protocol there, or are we likely to see a range of alternatives coexist?
Oh, you've asked another favorite question of mine. In fact, I was thinking the same thing when I looked at the title of the conference, and it's somewhat, past, its time. We're all grateful as an industry to OpenFlow as something that has kicked off the whole SDN discussion. I would almost call it SDN 1.0. Separation of data and control plane, OpenFlow being the first protocol that's been mentioned in that whole discussion. But now we have a whole portfolio of protocols, OpenFlow being one of them. We're talking about things like past computational element for traffic engineering type use cases and applications. We are talking about interface to routing system. We are talking about BGP link state. Netconf and Yang have taken the industry by storm. So I've only mentioned really few. There is a whole portfolio of protocols in that southbound space, from the controller down to the programmable network. And the way we at Cisco approach this whole domain of southbound protocols is we say there is really no single answer for all use cases and needs. It becomes then a discussion around what are you trying to achieve with the network? What is the use case that you would like to achieve as a provider, as a telco, as an enterprise? And then looking at which southbound mechanism makes sense to achieve that. So it's fair to say that what we will see moving into the future is SDN and NFV capable networks that utilize wide portfolio of these protocols, OpenFlow being just one of them.
How is Cisco helping with the development of the SDN and NFV standards, and also in assisting its carrier customers?
So again, we are seeing a full transformation of technology itself. We see the change in the way that networks are designed, the way that will operate, huge focus on orchestration, huge focus on software. But we're also seeing a fundamental way in which we as a company operate and how we come up with solutions, architectures, capabilities. Part of all of that is this emergence of the significant contribution and effort that Cisco places on our open source efforts. So our contributions to OpenStack, we are one of the founding members of the Open Daylight, and our contributions in that sort of framework around designing an open SDN controller. Contributions to IETF IETF standards, and also last but not least ETSI working groups to standardize the whole architectural framework. So all of these are really necessary to drive the industry innovation and then build that together with in-house developed portfolios so that providers and telcos and enterprises can have a choice of a technology that is fully open, interoperable and modular.
Rada Stanic, thank you very much.